Well, hello, and welcome back. I hope you're all having a great day. It's about to get really crappy here and rainy and cold. It's so awesome for baking and cooking. I love this weather. So we're going to do bruschetta today, and we're going to do it from scratch because I haven't got the long rolls, so we're going to make them. So the first thing we're going to do is make our dough. First thing we're going to need is 750 ml of warm water, or 3 cups of warm water. 1 tablespoon of sugar. 2 teaspoons of salt down one side. Now for the yeast, I always use this one, right? So it's just all the dry yeast in a container, and so I go by teaspoons. And if you use these packet dry yeast, there's 7 gram packets, okay? So what I'm going to do is you need 1 packet, but I need to know how many teaspoons that is for when I use the tub one. So 1 packet, 7 grams is, we want to do this down the opposite side to the salt. 1, 2. Hang on, it's a little bit more now. Yeah, 2 heaped teaspoons of dry yeast, or 1 7 gram sachet. 1 tablespoon of olive oil. I love using these cake scrapers. They're really easy to scrape the dough down with later when we get it out. Now you use the handle to mix it. So either wooden or plastic handle of any utensil you've got. We're just going to give it a little mix through, nothing too major. Just get any massive lumps out. Like so. Okay, now for the flour, we need 8 cups of plain flour, which equals 1 kilo of plain flour. Now if you've got a really big bowl, use it, but this is the biggest I've got, so I'm just going to have to take it easy with it. So with the end of your utensil, just mix it all in until it all forms into a dough and sticks together. Alright, we've finally got there. Now it's in one big large ball thingy. So what I'm going to do now is, because I don't have a really big bowl, is I'm going to divide it roughly in half and put it into 2 bowls. Alright, now scrape it all down, as much of it as you can. Put them into the middle, both of them. Like I said, it doesn't matter if they're not exactly even, because we're going to put them both together after anyway. So just make sure they're in a hole in the middle. Alright, now we want to wrap them with Glad wrap. Cover them in a tea towel, and now we want to put them in a dry, warm place. So I'm just going to stick mine in the corner of the kitchen because I've got the oven going anyway, and it's nice and warm in here. The only thing that will stuff this up is if that you put it in a draft, if you put it in near a window or a doorway. So avoid those 2 things and you won't have any problems at all. Now this bread dough takes between half an hour and an hour. So as soon as it's doubled in size, it's ready to go. Alright, it took the full hour today because it's pretty cold. So first thing we want to do is we want to get our cookie trays. We're going to need 2 of them, and just sprinkle some flour on them and put them aside for a minute. Put some flour on your, some flour on your bench top. Scoop out both your. Now we're going to set our timer for 5 minutes. Flour on top. Don't be afraid to use flour with this, alright? We're going to have to keep putting it on there until we can work with it. Now for 5 minutes, we just want to knead it, which is just doing this over and over for 5 minutes. Alright, 5 minutes later, so as you can see, it's looking awesome. So all I do is just keep doing a little bit of flour on my hands. Sometimes I sprinkle underneath through the 5 minutes. Try not to use a lot, just use it when you have to. Okay, beautiful. Alright, now she's done. Smash her into something we can divide up. Grab a knife. Now we want to try and divide it into 4. But if you've watched any of my shows before, I'm not very good at it. Alright, so sort of squash the ends up a bit. Sprinkle a bit of flour on if you have to. Squash the ends up a bit so you can kind of get it even another half. Alright, once you've got them, keep them apart or they'll just stick back together again. Alright, a little bit of flour in your hands. Get your first one. We just want to pull it out a bit. Like this. And just sit it on our tray. 2 to a tray. Do it with the next one. Bit of flour in your hand. Alright, clearly that one's a lot bigger. Onto your tray. So I put 2 bigger ones on one tray and the 2 smaller ones on the other tray. Alright, so now you just want to make them into blocks. So just spread them out. Push them in, keep spreading. Try and get them just as even as you can. Make them look nice and neat. Keep them a good distance apart. Fold the ends in a little bit. Alright, once we've got them the full length of our cookie tray, like so. Now we just leave them out for 20 minutes. So I'm going to sit this one on top of the oven stove top because it's nice and warm there. I'm not going to cover it with anything because normally when I cover them with them they stick to everything. So I'm going to leave them like that. Stick them there. I forgot to say while we're waiting for that 20 minutes, you can either coat them in 20 minutes time. We can either coat them in egg yolk or in milk. So I'm doing milk, so you need to pour your milk into something now and let it get at room temperature for that 20 minutes while we're waiting for the oven and the things to rise a little bit. 20 minutes later, oven's hot, rolls have done what they're supposed to. Alright, we get a knife and we just cut little slits all the way up in a diagonal, or whatever you call it. You don't want to go too deep, but you want to do it so we can make a pattern. Then we want to get our milk, and on she goes. I always use sesame seeds, but if you don't want to use sesame seeds, you can just sprinkle a little bit of flour over the top. Not a lot, just a little bit, but you can sprinkle the flour instead. Alright, sesame seeds. On they go, as little as many as you like. I don't mind smashing them on. I usually put them like in between the cuts, so when it sort of moves in the, as it rises, they sort of all stay on there and it's awesome. Now the first lot go in the oven. While they're in the oven, we're going to do this exact same thing to the other one. 30 minutes later, boom, we've got our first 2 rolls. Alright, chuck the other 2 in. I'm going to put 25 on these ones because they're just a little bit smaller, just in case, so I have to keep an eye on them. Now the way to check, see how that sounds hollow? That means they're ready. Now we're going to leave them there to go completely cold. Oh baby. Now these 2 took 25 minutes because they're a little bit smaller. That's the sound you want. Oh mate, it's awesome. As you can imagine, this makes up a lot of bruschetta. Now if you're only just making up some for a couple of you, what I do is when they go really cold is I'll wrap them really well in Glad wrap singly and freeze them. And then say tomorrow night we feel like a munchie while watching a movie or whatever, I'll pull one out, unwrap it, let it thaw out, and bang, just make your bruschetta up again. It's awesome. So yeah, and oh, the other thing too is eating them hot with a big wad of butter on them. Oh mate, take me there.